Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live lineup lock show for DFS purposes. I'm your host. I'm your boy, Keith Clark. I'm going to be flying solo here in the middle of the absolute silliest of seasons. My hat's a little crooked there. There we go. Hi. The silliest of seasons, yeah. Lots of just crazy stuff to go over. I'm glad you guys are joining me. Please do like and subscribe as we're discussing things here, but let's just jump right into it, man. So just kind of going through the most recent news. I do want to say I am looking at the Nikola Vucevic situation pretty heavily. I do want to play some Andre Drummond. I was looking at both sides here. He's 3,500 on DraftKings. He's also 4,900 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I think you can actually fade him because Goga Batadze, I feel like could put up the same similar line at 200 less than Mr. Nikola Vucevic, or sorry, Mr. Andre Drummond. But I think on FanDuel, he makes a lot of sense because Goga Batadze and Drummond are the same price. I'd rather go with Drummond. I feel like he's more of a solid guy. I assume he's going to step into that big role. But I'm expecting a big Drummond game if Vooch does sit. We don't know if Vooch sits or not. That's still up in the air at this point in time. But I'm liking it, man. I'm feeling like we are going to get us some Andre Drummond here. A little bit more light. Look at that. Ooh, I'm so lit up. Oh, look at my face. All right, let's move through some stuff here, though. It does look like I was wondering when the Sixers were going to sit everybody. Looks like Tobias Harris and DeAnthony Melton are out for sure. They had some of their secondary guys listed as questionable. Embiid's out, Harden's out, Maxi's out, Harris is out, Melton's out, Tucker's out. Paul Reed, B-Ball Paul, we talked about them a little bit in the Discord earlier today. Not super excited about him at that price tag. I think you could absolutely be fine at 5,000, but I'm not like super sold on that. I think there are definitely better guys out there. I already mentioned Goga Batadze, Andre Drummond. If we get news that Nikola Vucevic is going to be out, so there are other guys that I would prefer to go with. I think over AB of all Paul, Montrezl Harrell, 4,500, probably a little bit better of a play, but still not trusting that too much. One guy I've been looking at though this whole time is Jalen McDaniels, 4,100. I think if you need a wing that's cheaper, that makes a lot of sense there. Georges Niang, 4,000, also kind of going to be a guy that's probably not going to be highly owned, but he can absolutely score the basketball anytime he gets minutes. And of course, Shake Milton, he's probably going to be a popular play on this slate, I would think. I don't think I'm super interested in any of these Philadelphia guys. I have interest around the slate elsewhere. Just looking to see right now if I could swap anybody out that I currently have in. I mean, it doesn't move the needle enough for me. None of these guys really moves the needle enough for me. I've got some other guys that I'm more confident in, so I'm not necessarily chopping at the bit to get these Philadelphia guys in. Derek White is going to be in. Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart are both out against the Raptors, so that's good. That's big. Derek White's going to be hugely owned. I'm actually taking a chance here. I'm fading him on DraftKings. I don't know if that's wise or not. I'm going stars and scrubs. I tried to get him in and see what that looked like. I just didn't like those builds. I really want to get the scrub value here. I think there's a lot of $3,000 to $4,000 guys that are going to just smash value. So I'm able to fit in 3 stars. Now, do we have stars that we can trust in this slate? I think there's 3 of them. I've got currently LeBron James, Pascal Siakam, and Steph Curry in my lineups. And I think those guys are all safe. The Warriors definitely have something to play with here. I don't think that Kings game is going to be as bad of a blowout as people think it might be. Let me see if I don't even know if we have a spread on that just yet. Let me just check to see if there is one. But I'm sure we have one. I'm not sure how close it is what I should say. I'm sure there's a spread out there, obviously. But I think it's going to be pretty close. So I think Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, those guys are definitely on the table if you want to spend up somewhere. LeBron James, I've said it before. I just tweeted out in my DFS tiers. I think he's pretty much the safest guy on this slate because the Lakers have a lot to play for, and they have a pretty not good team. Just gonna put it out there, Lakers fans. I'm sorry, their team's okay. It's mid. It's a mid team. Just be okay with it. It's fine. In that Warriors game, it's a 9.5 point spread. But that's not really that crazy, honestly. You should still get a pretty heavy workload there for Steph Curry, and they want to win that game, so it's going to be important to them. Lakers are favored by 12.5 points against the Suns sitting all their starters. I think that's a little much, honestly. Might actually want to bet the other side of that, plus 12.5 in favor of Suns because you got Josh Okogie. You've got some really solid pieces there. You've got Bismack Biyombo, I mean, not great. Cam Payne is another guy I'm targeting heavily in DFS. I'm telling you guys right now, go play Cam Payne because he's going to score a whole lot of points. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm sure y'all have questions, because if you don't, you're probably not following close enough, because there's a lot of stuff that we're just not sure about go one way or another. So SportsEthos, follow me there, sportsethos.com, get that DFS pass. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have Carl Towns going to be questionable here. Oh, he's going to be questionable on Saturday, it looks like. So it looks like he is playing for Friday. Curious to see how that turns out. There's a lot to be, worked out in that West Coast play-in / borderline play-in area. Luka Doncic is playing. I think, you can definitely get to Luka on this slate. I think that's fine. I don't think that game's going to be super. It's hard to get a read in that game because the Mavs rule everyone out when we all thought, hey, they have a chance still to make the play-in, so they're going to go ahead and play people and beat the Bulls. I knew the Bulls were going to sit people. I follow, obviously, all the beat writers and stuff like that. It just seemed like that was the obvious choice there for the Bulls. They increased their chances of keeping their pick by like 4 or 5% by losing a couple games here at the end. So I think they'll sit their guys against Pistons as well. But I wasn't foreseeing that the Dallas Mavericks would be playing Luka Doncic. I know someone said on my Twitter earlier, I think it was Stephen Bagel. You should go follow him, the Stephen Bagel. Go find him on Twitter. But someone did say it was a Serbian heritage night over there in Dallas, and that could be why he's playing. Don't know. But if you're going to get 30 plus minutes of Luka Doncic, I think as long as you can get there, what you can on the slate, that's fine. I'm not personally going there. I am going stars and scrubs, but I'm not going that deep into it. So no Luka for me. No Anthony Davis, probably either at 10-7. Tatum at 10-5 with no Jaylen Brown. Could see that game getting competitive. I think that's a pretty solid bet as well. So I've already named some, you can easily do stars and scrubs on this slate. Is it going to be absolutely rock solid that these stars are going to play their full allotment of minutes? No. There's risk. But I do think that it's probably a pretty easy way to go here. All right. Max Strus is warming up with the intention to play, so that's big. No Jimmy Butler, no Hero, no Lowry. He should get 35, 38 minutes, somewhere in that range. Absolutely interested in playing some Max Strus. I like him a whole lot on FanDuel, where he is 4,600. DraftKings, he is 4,500. But again, I'm going stars and scrubs, and he's just a little bit too expensive. There's other guys, like I'll call out Isaiah Jackson at 4,400. I'd rather have, right? He's a center. Centers are always more guaranteed to get their points. Going against Detroit, there's no Miles Turner, there's no Jalen Smith, so I think Isaiah Jackson's a great play today. I've got Gary Trent Jr. 4,100. I think he's a nice hit or miss type play. I would love to get to Strus from Gary Trent Jr., but I just don't have the cash at this moment. But hey, maybe something will open up as I'm toying around. Maybe I'll find something here. So I'm not super sold on Max Strus, necessarily on DK, where I'm going more stars and scrubs. FanDuel, I'm going a little bit more middle of the ground, and we'll see how that goes. But I do have Strus. Let me see here. I'm trying to see if we're getting any Vooch information here. I should be able to call that out for you guys as soon as it happens. I'm not sure if he's playing yet. Sorry, my feed there, and now I've got to wait for it to refresh. But if Vooch is out, Andre Drummond, I would play him over Goga on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I think he's more expensive than Goga. Don't think you have to go there necessarily. But yeah, Goga Patadze and Drummond, I'm kind of just going back and forth here. Obviously, I'm a Bulls fan, so maybe take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I'm just overhyping my guy Andre, but he's a very high points per minute guy. And Goga, especially if Paolo Banchero is going to play and stuff like that, which it looks like actually we're getting information on that. Markelle Fultz and Franz Wagner are available and starting. Cole Anthony is making his 4th start of the season. I don't see Paolo Banchero mentioned in this. So it's going to be Fultz, Suggs, Cole Anthony, Franz, and Matadze starting. That's interesting. So there's a couple guys you can spend up on, Fultz, Franz. That really hampers Suggs. Suggs was a big play that we called on the podcast, but With all those other guys in, I just don't think so. Who's your guy for rebounds and assists? Are you just talking about in general on the slate? Or do you have like a salary range you're looking at? Or a couple players looking at? Like a little more information or maybe a format you're playing. I'll be able to answer that for you if you give me just a little bit more context. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Kevin Love has been ruled out. No big deal. Wasn't really looking to play him anyways. Heat are pretty much giving the Nets the 6th seed, which sucks for me because I have a bet for the Nets to miss the playoffs, which isn't going to happen now, but it is what it is. Again, Jalen Smith, no Miles Turner. I'm going with Isaiah Jackson. Let's say tonight 10-team championship, 9-cat. Rebounds, I mean, I just mentioned Isaiah Jackson. I think Goga Batadze is a great stream if you have him available in your league. Let me see. Anyone else that I'm looking at that gets rebounds? I mean, you can definitely, if you need both of those from one player, that's pretty difficult. Rebounds and assists. I mean, I think I'd probably go with Isaiah Jackson of those guys that I mentioned. He'll get a few assists for sure if he's going to play the full allotment of minutes there. Maybe a James Wiseman if he's out there sitting any wire. That'd be a pretty decent spot as well. Cam Payne would get you assists for sure. So you kind of have to pick one or the other, I feel like. But I'm big on Cam Payne for streaming him here. Good question, though, Taylor. If there's someone else that pops up that I pops in my mind, I'll let you know. But back to the DFS side of things here. TJ McConnell's ruled out. I mean, that helps out, Andrew Nembhard. You can play him. It's fine. I think all those Pacers got kind of, priced up at this point. All right. We know Jaylen Brown's out, so as I said, Tatum's a good play. Let's go over to some of these other guys that I've been speaking of that are good value plays. Another guy I haven't spoken of yet. Well, I did. Let me touch on here. Cam Payne, 4,200. I think you absolutely have to play this guy tonight. No Devin Booker, no Kevin Durant, no Chris Paul. Knew that was going to happen. Called it out in the pod. Absolutely what they should be doing. But he's just going to go. I mean, he's going to have probably close to 20 points. He's going to have 5, 6, 7 assists, somewhere in that range. Probably grab you 3 or 4 rebounds. So a steal or 2. You're looking at a really nice fantasy line from Cam Payne tonight. He's going to be that catalyst on the offensive side against the Lakers, who aren't, they're an average. He just that's fine. That's fair enough. You dislike Wiseman. It is what it is. I think Ijax is a good bet for you there to get some good boards there for sure. All right. But yeah, I think Cam Payne's a really good play tonight. Another guy we haven't spoken of yet, and this is on Sacramento, who's also looking like they're going to sit all their guys. Let me just see if they've officially been ruled out yet. I don't think they have. So yeah, Sabonis is still listed as questionable. Fox is listed as questionable. We've got Huerter questionable, Monk questionable, Keegan Murray questionable, Trey Lyles questionable, and Davion Mitchell questionable. If all those guys sit, I mean, I think you got to take a look at Terrence Davis. He's going to be a little bit overlooked, I think, on this slate, but 3,900 for this guy. He's got a really high upside, really nice points per minutes for fantasy purposes, for DFS purposes. So I think Terrence Davis is going to absolutely go off in the scoring department, and he'll put up some nice supporting stats as well. Just trying to see here his game log. Last time he got significant minutes. Let's see, 29 minutes on the 18th of March. He put up 35.75 DK points. So trying to see 32 minutes back on the 11th of February. He put up 39 DK points against the Dallas Mavericks. And that other game on the 18th of March was against the Washington Wizards. So, they're playing the Warriors here, but the Warriors aren't necessarily a good defensive team this season. They really aren't. So that doesn't scare me away from it at all. So I think Terrence Davis has to be in your player pool for sure. I'm definitely playing him. Pascal Siakam, I mentioned, some of the stars you could play, but Toronto has probably the most to play for on this slate. They want to try to stay out of that 9-10 situation. And in order to do that, they're going to have to win tonight. So Boston is sitting Jaylen Brown, but, obviously it's Boston. And even if they were sitting both Tatum and Brown, it would still be a really good game because the Boston Celtics are just so deep. I mean, Derek White's going to go off tonight, and Derek White's just a guy they slip in there to play 30-plus minutes whenever they need him to, right? So, and they've got Brogdon, obviously, but Brogdon's ruled out. So they're just a deep team. I don't think, in any way, shape, or form is this going to be a blowout. So I think that the Raptors are pretty safe value. So I like Siakam a whole lot. I also like Scotty Barnes, who's 8,100 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, he's 8,400. I like him on both sites as a guy to spend up on. Just taking a look at the standings now. They are a game behind the Hawks for that number 8 seed. Well, number 8 in the play-in, right? So they'd be playing the Heat. The thing that kind of popped in my mind here, though, if I'm the Raptors and I'm a Bulls fan, I'm saying this. If I'm the Raptors, I'd rather play the Bulls than the Heat. But again, if you're in the 7-8, you only have to win one game. And so the math works out in your favor. So you want to get in that 7-8 no matter what. So they have all the incentive to win. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about that. So the Raptors are absolutely safe. Just if we have any new news, so pardon me here, I am alone today, so you have to just kind of wait while I refresh the feed sometimes and just kind of take a look. Okay, we got Mark Williams starting. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. We still have Nick Richards over there too, so it's going to be a timeshare. They're both fine. I don't have a problem playing either of those guys. I think there's plenty of other value on the slate, but they'll probably be low owned, so there's something at least. Still waiting again on the Nikola Vucevic news. I want to play him. Okay, Banchero is out. Looks like we do have confirmation Banchero is out. So that's good. Good for my Goga Batadze shares. Good for if you want to play some Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner gets a nice boost with that. Let me see. Franz Wagner and he's a really nice price if I recall correctly in DraftKings at least. So let's see. Franz Wagner on DraftKings is 6,100. And on FanDuel, 7,100. So DraftKings, he's a really good play. I don't have any. Man. So I think I could slip him in. I could slip Derek White in. I feel like that's getting pretty cashy. That's a real cash move if you want to have Derek White, Franz Wagner, and like a Raptor. And like LeBron James. I think that's like a good core for a cash game. Absolutely. I'm playing. Okay, Gary Harris is available. I don't know how much he plays. I don't think that really matters too much. They have no incentive to play him. I think they're gonna play Cole Anthony a heck of a lot. Luka Doncic is going to sit out after the first quarter tonight against the Bulls. Wow. Okay, so it must be something like it's Serbian Heritage Night. Apologies to any Serbians watching or listening. Serbian Heritage Night over there in Dallas. So he's probably playing for that reason and that reason alone. I would absolutely not play him in DFS. Doncic is going to be sitting out after the first quarter. I'd have to believe they're going to sit Vooch. I've got to believe that. We've got Markkanen, Clarkson, Kessler, Sexton, Horton Tucker. Oh, this is for Saturday. I'm sorry. They're all out for Saturday. So that's for tomorrow, not for today. Heat are starting Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Haywood Highsmith, and Cody Zeller. So that's interesting. Cody Zeller is an interesting guy, but I've got too many centers I like. Again, Max Strus jumps out to me there. Duncan Robinson's an interesting wild card. I'm sure he's basically minimum pricing here. Let's see. 3,200 on DraftKings, so almost minimum pricing. And 3,800 on FanDuel. I mean, he's attractive. I think for a large field GPP, that is a guy you can definitely give a look to. I mean, he signed that big contract for a reason. He still has that skill, I believe. I mean, I don't just think it's like, Space Jam where their skills just get taken away. So at some point in time, that skill is going to rear its head. And he's going to hit some shots. Could be now. Could be in this game. I think he's a good large field GPP guy. I would steer clear of him though if you're trying to, put a good bet of your money out there. Trying to see if there's any news here on Vooch. They have to sit Vooch, I would guess, though, if they're not going to play Luka. The Bulls want to lose this game as much as the Mavericks want to lose it. The Bulls can increase their chances of keeping their pick by 5-6%, 4 or 5%, sorry, if they lose the next few games and move a little further down the standings. So there's incentive for the Bulls to lose. It looks like Dennis Smith Jr. is out. So Theo Maledon still gets a boost. Svi Mihaliuk, Svi. Captain Svi, he gets a good little boost there. Those guys are still viable. I had Svi in an early build on FanDuel. I think he's 6,200 there. Their starting lineup's going to be Theo Maledon, Svi, Bryce McGowan's, JT Thor, and Mark Williams. So again, Svi and Maledon are probably my top targets there. You can throw in some Mark Williams as well, or Nick Richards if you want to get, again, GPP, get a little froggy. All right, so again, what stars can we count on? I think LeBron James absolutely must win here for the Lakers. They're trying to get that. They could even get the 7th seed if their cards fall right. So I think LeBron James, Anthony Davis are definitely worth a look for you. And I think LeBron James is the one I like the most just because the price is a little bit down. Pascal Siakam or Scotty Barnes on Toronto. You could throw in some Fred VanVleet too. He's just so up and down. He's 8,500. I'd rather go Scotty Barnes, honestly. It just feels like he's safer. He's going to contribute assists, rebounds, steals. Fred VanVleet, his shot needs to fall, but he's got a higher ceiling most likely than Scotty Barnes, or maybe a similar ceiling. I don't know. I just feel like Scotty Barnes is definitely a stronger play there. OG Anunoby, 7,300. A little priced up for me. I don't really love the price tag, but you could throw him in, I guess, in some GPPs. So yeah, I think it's Toronto Raptors. You can definitely look at those guys. Lakers, you can definitely look at those guys as well. We still don't know if the Kings are going to be playing in this one. Seems like they're sitting everybody, but it's a big game for the Warriors. So again, I do like Steph Curry here. I like Klay Thompson. He's 7,000 on DraftKings. Steph Curry's 10,500 on DraftKings. And they're similar on FanDuel. Klay Thompson, 7,400 on class. So he's a little bit priced up on FanDuel. But I still think it's fine. I think you can play any of those guys. Draymond Green, throw him out there too as a kind of a wild card. Don't love the price for him, but you could throw him in the lineup. Just trying to see if we have any new news here. We are about 24 minutes away from lock. Just got some new injury news about 6 minutes ago, so I'm sure that's just trickling in right now. I'm just trying to get that to you. If you guys are listening and you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you subscribe, you get notified every single time we go live. We're going to try to bring this live show to you. We're not probably going to do it tomorrow because it's 3 games, and none of them really matter. That's what really ticks me off. I did put out a podcast, though. That should be dropping early here, so you can go listen to that. But, yeah, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. DeAndre Hunter is in tonight, so any AJ Griffin shares you might have had out there, go ahead and toss those to the side. Just taking a look to see if there's anything new. Rocket starters are going to be KJ Martin, Jabari Smith Jr., Şengün, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., normal starters. Nothing to take away there, really. Again, Melton and Harris are out for the Sixers, so again, for the Sixers, if you're just tuning in, kind of went over that already, but nothing I totally love on the Sixers. I think Milton's going to be a highly owned guy, probably too highly owned. That's not really going to be worth it because there's other guys that are probably going to do just as well as him. Cam Payne's just a little bit more expensive than him. I'd definitely rather have Cam Payne, personally. Georges Niang stuck out to me as an interesting guy. He does score the basketball at a pretty high rate. He's only 4,000 on DraftKings. And Milton at 3,900 is I just mentioned him, but yeah, he's going to be a highly owned guy. The other guys, the guy I'm really interested in though is Jalen McDaniels at 4,100. We saw what he did in Charlotte when he had starters minutes and a whole lot of usage, and so I'm hoping for that again. I mean, he contributes again across multiple categories: rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, 3-pointers, and he does it all. So I do like that kid. He's a good solid play. I'm fading Milton at my own risk. I totally agree it's risky. So yeah, Paulo Banchero is out. Maybe a little bit more Bull too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to take away from that. Franz Wagner and Markelle Fultz are in. Those are really the guys you want to target, I think. I still like Goga a whole lot. I don't want to sell that. Sorry, you should definitely get Goga Batadze at 3,300 in your lineups, and he's 4,900 on FanDuel. When are the Bulls? The Bulls are one of the later games. We're not going to get that Vooch news until after lock. And the Orlando game is going to be 7:30. So 7:30 Eastern for the Orlando game. Lock for game for Chicago is 8:30 Eastern. So there's an hour there. So about 30 minutes after lock, we're going to get news on hopefully get news on Nikola Vucevic If we don't, I'm going to probably just lock in Goga on FanDuel. But I would rather play Drummond again. I mean, I think it's risky. If you're in if you have 100 lineups up there, I would definitely throw a few out there that have Andre Drummond. I've been waiting for a big Andre Drummond game. He's just the most frustrating player to watch because he makes a really, really great play athletically, and then he just makes a really stupid play with basketball IQ like right after that, and it happens like several times a game. I'm just trying to see if we have any information yet here. He's frustrating guy to watch, but in terms of fantasy, he produces. Raptors are starting their normal starters. Nothing exciting there. Van Vliet, Anunoby, Barnes, Siakam, Pirtle. So, still just waiting on some stuff here. Let me see if there's any other games we haven't really touched on. Detroit, Indiana, Houston, Charlotte. I mean, these are just so unpredictable. I do feel like, Jaden Ivey, 7,500, always a good guy to go with. They're going to put the rock in his hands a whole lot. Again, I think Isaiah Jackson is one of the predictable things about this game. He's going to get a whole lot of minutes here. Front court for Detroit, I just don't know. You got Bagley in there. You got Wiseman in there. You got Duran in there. So I would steer clear. I just don't really know who's going to get those minutes. It's probably going to end up being split too much that it's not going to matter. Wiseman's only 6,000, but still, I don't trust it. No way. Yeah, there's nothing else too exciting in that game, but Isaiah Jackson for sure would be my takeaway there. Houston, Charlotte, we already kind of touched on that, on the Charlotte side. On the Houston side, I mean, I think you can play Kevin Porter Jr., Şengün, and GPPs. I think he'll be low owned, so that's good. Jalen Green, I mean, sure. Pricing is not like amazing. I'm not loving any of it, so just see here real quick if we have any new news at this point in time. Hopefully we get Vucevic news. Come on, Vooch. Pacers are starting Nembhard, Mathurin, Nesmith, Nwora, and Isaiah Jackson. Not surprising, really. Looking here, trying to get some new Vooch news, but not just not getting it yet. Okay, so what else have we talked about yet? We talked about Toronto, Boston. Toronto's a good one. Philly, Atlanta. Philly's sitting everybody. We were talking about Philly side. On the Atlanta side, big game for them, actually. We haven't really talked about Atlanta, so that's good. Trae Young, 8,900. I think that's a pretty nice bet there. He just burned me so much last time I played him. I just don't want to go back to him. He shot like 2 of 12 from the field or something ridiculous and only had like 6 assists. So it just makes me so wary. I'm just Trae Young. I just don't like him. DeJounte Murray, 8,400 is fine as well. I mean, again, it's a must-win game for them. They want to stay in that 8th seed, I think it is. Yeah, they're in the 8th seed right now, a game ahead of the Raptors. So both those teams playing for something tonight. Sadiq Bey, 5,600, fine. The pricing's fine. I mean, nothing's blowing me out of the water here. I think I'd probably go Trae Young if I was going to play somebody in that game. We did talk about Orlando. Let's talk about Brooklyn, actually. That's a good point. So Brooklyn here, I think gets a nice little bump because Orlando's starting to play their guys, their starters. So I had Mikal Bridges in some early lineups, and I think it's fine to have him in your lineups now. This is a big game for the Nets as well. They need to stay out of the play-in. The Heat are basically giving it to them by sitting all their guys. But that doesn't mean the Nets can just sit all their guys. They have to win at least this one, then they can sit their guys next game. So this is the last game they're going to play here. I'm on the over for Mikal Bridges for his points once I saw that they were upgrading everyone to questionable for the starters for the Orlando, because I feel like Mikal's going to get his full minutes here. I think his points was at 26.5. He's hit that over a healthy amount of times. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the last 6 games. So think he has a good chance of going over here. Orlando's not a very good defensive team. And you can pretty much guarantee yourself 40 to 45 DK points at 8,700. So Mikal Bridges, if we're talking between him and obviously we just talked about Trae Young. I think I would definitely go with Mikal Bridges. Trying to see now if I'd rather have him over like Pascal Siakam. I don't know. I'm getting a feeling about Pascal here. I feel like that game's going to be more competitive. I think the Brooklyn Nets could put away the Orlando Magic early. I like Nicholas Claxton 7,200 as well. So I would definitely consider him in this game as well. Again, Orlando's playing their guys. You're gonna have Claxton going against Goga Batadze, who does get in foul trouble. So that's one thing to be wary of if you're playing Goga like I am. But yeah, about 15 minutes to lock here. So I think some of these Nets guys, Cam Johnson 6,600, like these guys are fine. That's super. I think Mikal Bridges would be the one I'd be super into there. 8,700. I'm almost convincing myself to get him into my lineups at this point. Trying to see if I get Mikal in. No, that's not going to work. Well, I'm just going to stick with what I got. Don't overthink it, guys. If you are confident what you have and you need to swap things, and all of a sudden you start swapping 4 things, and you're just like, I don't know where I'm going from here. Just hit the refresh button. Don't worry about it. Load it up again. Don't make a bad decision just because you I have to get this guy in. There are situations where that happens. I don't know if we're going to get one of those tonight. All right, let's see what we got here. Refreshing the feed here, seeing if there's anything new. Come on, Vucevic news. Let's see. We already got the Miami starters. Yep, not getting anything new here. So just, again, I want to see some Vooch news here. I want to play some Andre Drummond. Just don't have that news yet. They are playing at 8:30 Eastern, so probably get that news later. Probably after lock. I'll probably have to play Goga, which is fine. I'm not that torn about it. But I don't want to miss out on that Goga value because I think it's very valuable here. I'm going to switch this back to Goga Batadze, actually, now that we're talking about it. And I'm just going to go ahead and save. I was hoping we get that Vooch news, but we're just not going to get it, it looks like. So it is what it is. Okay, so heading back here to the slate. Once it loads here, I got logged out of DraftKings, so apologize. Hang with me here for a few seconds while this loads up. Do like and subscribe, please. It really helps me reach more eyes, reach more ears. Be very helpful for me if you guys did that. So please, if you're liking this, if you're digging all the info I'm throwing down, please go ahead and hit those for me. Knicks and Pelicans. Not a lot to play for the Knicks. They already have all their guys out. They've had all their guys out for a while here. Brunson and Randall both out. Barrett. Barrett is questionable. You'd have to guess he's more on the doubtful side here. Quickly at 9,000. I mean, the price is just. I'd rather have other guys. I'd rather have like a Trae Young. Quickly could have absolutely outscore Trae Young. Pelicans are a tough defensive team, though. So, and the Pelicans have a lot to play for. Quentin Grimes 7-7. I just don't. These price tags have just jumped up. Toppin 6-2. I mean, these price tags are like where they need to be at this point. You're not getting a lot of value. I feel like. I think Quickly is a good guy to go with the GPPs though, because people are going to have that thought process. So the ownership might be a little lower there. If you guys do have a question, please throw it in the chat. I'm happy to answer as much as I can. We're about 12 minutes, 11 and a half minutes to lock. I'm just trying to see what the price tags here of the Knicks are on FanDuel FanDuel. Yeah, Quickly at 7.9. That's good. That's a good price tag. I'd lock him in at 7.9, honestly. See if I can work him into my lineup here. Yeah, that's a really good price tag for Quickly. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna try to get him in here. Quentin Grimes is 6'8". I actually had him in an earlier build. I think that's fine. Toppin 6'4", no. Pelicans, it is a big game for them. Let's see. The Pelicans are sitting in 8th place currently, tied with the Lakers. 1 game ahead of the Timberwolves. 1 game behind the Warriors and the Clippers. I don't know who owns all the tiebreakers, but that whole cluster of teams, they're going to be playing till the end, till the bitter end. So, yeah, Brandon Ingram, you can absolutely go with him. I think he's 10,000 on DraftKings, 9,900 on FanDuel. I like McCollum. I think he's 8,000 on DraftKings, 8,200 on FanDuel. I'm looking at FanDuel right now, obviously, so I know the FanDuel for sure. But yeah, I think I think you can absolutely go with those guys for sure. Those Pelicans. They have something to play for. Just refreshing my feed now just to see if there's anything new that we need to kind of break down in real time. We are about 10 minutes here until lock. As we say, if you're just joining now, Luka Doncic is only going to play the first quarter. Please don't play him in your DFS lineups. If you had him in there, swap him out now. Looks like for the Spurs, Devontae Graham, McDermott, and Sohan and Vassell are all out. So Graham and McDermott were questionable earlier. Keldon Johnson and Romeo Langford are still questionable. So we don't know if they're going to play or not. Ty Jerome's a really late scratch. That doesn't matter. For the Spurs, we can cover them in a minute here. Just try and see if there's anything else new. Looks like Jalen Duren's starting. Yep, Duren's starting. Oh my gosh. They're starting. Whew, wait, this can't be right. Oh no. Okay, I see. They're starting Hayes, Ivy. No surprise there. Hampton. That's a little bit of a surprise. RJ Hampton. James Wiseman and Duren. So Wiseman and Duren are getting a chance to start next to each other again. Interesting. And then Bagley's coming off the bench. Again, I just don't know how to gauge that situation. I'm staying away. Paulo Banchero's out, in case you're just joining. Wendell Carter's out. Jay Scrubb is out. And Mo Wagner is out. So Goga Batadze to the moon. Looks like that's the only news. So we'll talk about the Spurs in a moment here. Just trying to figure out how to get Emmanuel quickly now into my lineup on FanDuel. I think he's a really good play with them playing for something. So just bear with me here. See, I play too. The thing about me that you may not know is I play too. Not looking like I'm liking a whole lot with that though. I mean, I wouldn't mind fading quickly. What if I do this? So again, Cam Payne is a big guy I'm into tonight on tonight's slate. He's going to have the ball in his hands a whole heck of a lot. I like Steph Curry as a spend up, absolutely. So I'm going to go with him as well. And that leaves me with not very much salary. All right, let's see if we have any new news here. While I do that, again, please do like and subscribe. Follow along every time you subscribe. You get notified every time we go live. So that will help you a great deal. Did pretty well in last slate if you guys were watching. At one point, I was winning like $130, but I didn't have anybody in the last game of the night, so I ended up going down to $40. But still, more than I put in. I put in 19. Transparency is key. I put in 19, so it is what it is. We haven't talked about Milwaukee either, so we'll hit Milwaukee as well. Not really liking getting quickly in my lineups here, so I'm just going to go ahead and stop doing that. So Milwaukee, let's head on back here. Let's talk about Milwaukee and then Spurs, which are not playing today. Sorry. That was for tomorrow. Spurs aren't playing. That's why probably some of you tuned out. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's talk about Milwaukee. Giannis is out. Jrue Holiday's out. Chris Middleton's out. Rick Lopez is out. Bobby Portis to the moon. Yeah, absolutely. 7,800 on DraftKings. FanDuel, he is 7,400. Even better on FanDuel. Absolutely love it. Javon Carter's fine, 6,000 on DraftKings. I'm not loving it. Probably won't end up on him. 5,200 on FanDuel. No, probably not. Some other guys you might look at would be like an AJ Green or a Marjan Beauchamp. Those are guys that are probably going to get quite a few minutes here. They're younger guys that they want to give a look at. AJ Green would at 3,700 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel he is 3,500, so he's minimum pricing there. Beauchamp 3,600 on DraftKings and 3,800 on FanDuel. So I think either of those sites, I think you can definitely go with either of those younger guys from Milwaukee. I'm not in love with it. I think there's other more sure value down the slate, but one of those guys might go off. They probably will. One of those guys probably will go off. Okay, this is about the Spurs who aren't playing, so I don't care about that. Doesn't look like we have any new news at this point in time. Really wish we had that Vooch news. For the next 30 minutes after lock, I would definitely suggest hanging around. Not here. I'll be off. I'm gonna hang out for a few minutes after, just kind of give you some idea what the ownership on people is that I've been suggesting. But I definitely suggest watching your lineups at least through the next 30 minutes to see if you get any news about Vooch sitting out. On FanDuel, you can straight up swap him for Goga. They're the same price. DraftKings, he's a little bit more expensive than Goga Batadze. So, but if you want to have him, you can easily find yourself $200 to keep around and swap onto him. So, just waiting for that big Andre Drummond game, which could very well be this one. Could. All right. So just refresh feed here. My phone is like buzzing nonstop. Who's messaging me and why? That's my question. Yep, don't see anything. Okay. Again, Luka's sitting out for the first quarter. A lot of people are ticked off about that. I'm pretty sure it's Serbian Heritage Month. That's what Stephen Bagel told me. I trust that guy on Twitter. So Nugget stars are questionable for Saturday. That's tomorrow. Don't care about that. Don't care about Spurs. I am not seeing anything crazy impactful right now. So no new news at this point in time, guys. But thanks for hanging out with me. Again, please do like and subscribe. We're about 3 or 4 minutes here until lock. So we talked about the Bucks. We talked about we haven't really talked about the Bulls, I guess. So the Bulls are sitting everybody. Again, I'm waiting on that Vooch news. I want to play Drummond, but there's a couple other guys that we haven't touched on here that I think can be very good plays. Kobe White, 5,000, absolutely. I think that's a really good play. Really big, high ceiling there. He can absolutely score the basketball. Been playing very well on both sides of the basketball this season. Patrick Williams at 4,500 is perhaps my second favorite play on the Bulls outside of Drummond. But again, we don't know if Drummond's going to start or not. So 4,500 for Patrick Williams, I think, is a very, very solid price tag as well. And I would assume with 3,800 is enticing as well. He's more of a deeper GPP pivot, though. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to own him. He hasn't had a very good game in a long time. But with the minutes, he can definitely get there. 5,100 for Kobe White on FanDuel. 4,900 again for Drummond. 4,800 for Patrick Williams, who is currently in my lineup. I had assumed move 4,600. Don't like Io on FanDuel, honestly. Not super into that. Just refreshing real quick here one more time. See if we maybe have some more updates here. So that kind of gives you guys some idea about the Chicago side of things with Dallas sitting everybody. I think Jaden Hardy at 5,000. If you were to go between Jaden Hardy or Kobe White, oh man, that's tough. That is a tough one. I think either one is fine. They're the same price and pretty much the same kind of guy. Oh, I'd love for someone to stack those guys and see those guys just go on a shootout. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a fun way to win a GPP. I think you could do that. Reggie Bullock, 4,200 is probably going to get a full allotment of minutes. Christian Woods out. I mean, maybe some JaVale McGee at 3,700. Yeah, the Mavericks are just so bad. Their depth is just so atrocious. That's part of the problem. Bertans at 3,000 stands out to me. He could, go off, but these are all kind of dice rolls. I think Hardy's probably the only guy I would really trust out there. But we are about a minute here from lock, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to, lock in on the news here. Kid went ahead and confirmed that Doncic is only playing the first quarter, so that's good. We're not getting duped there. And then he's done for the season. Wow. Okay, so that's some new news. That doesn't affect tonight, but looks like the Mavericks are literally just packing it in. That sucks because the Bulls need to lose. So this is gonna be, this is gonna be an interesting game. Who's gonna want to lose more, the Bulls or the Mavericks? Ooh. Oh boy, the Bulls need to lose. They need to lose the next 2 games. They're in the 10th seed anyways. So who cares? Give yourself a better chance to keep your pick. I hate to see that. And even when the Bulls try to lose, they lose. There you go. A little bit of it. I do a Bulls podcast, by the way. Do check that out if you guys are into the Bulls. SportsEthos Bulls, Chicago Bulls coverage. Looks like we are past lock now. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh these pages here. I'm done thinking about this slate. Actually, for the next 30 minutes, we do have to think about, Vooch is out. Do we switch to Drummond over Patadze? So I do have to think about that, but that's okay. I can think about that while I enjoy dinner or something. So let's take a look here. I always try to look at my most highest cost entry fee to see what the ownership looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. FanDuel usually loads a little faster. So 4.3% for Strus on FanDuel. That's the only guy I have currently locked in. That's nice. I like that I grabbed him. I think he can absolutely go off against the Washington Wizards. So I'm happy about that. He was a shooting guard / small forward, I believe. For some reason, I can't look at that right now. But so that means, a lot of people probably have Patrick Williams, maybe some Klay Thompson out there, Scotty Barnes. I mean, there's plenty of other options at that wing position. So it's not crazy that it's that low, but it's nice. I like it that it's that low. That's for sure. Let me just go over to DraftKings and see what I can see there. DraftKings always has the most issues loading right at the start because everyone's frantically trying to see the same thing I'm trying to see. What's the ownership here? Do I have to pay attention or don't I? If you have a guy that's highly owned that's going to do well, I mean, you might hit the money line, but you're probably not winning the thing. So the only guy I've got locked over here is Isaiah Jackson, who's 22.3% owned. That's about right. I mean, I figured a lot of people would be on him. A little bit higher maybe than I would have guessed. Maybe I would have guessed more like the 16, 17, 18% range, but this is all just guesswork on my part. So, that's within the realm of possibility. It doesn't surprise me at all. So that's all I got for you guys. That is it. I need to go get some dinner, use the restroom. So, oh, sorry, Frank. I didn't see you at 8,000 left for utility on DraftKings. Portis or McCollum. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to probably go Portis. Go Portis there. Feel like it's safer. McCollum could have a bad shooting game. I think either one could outscore the other one. But I think for me, it's Portis is the safer option. So I'm going to go with that there. But it's a very close one. So Lakers in 5. Thanks, Amelia. Appreciate that. Anyways, you guys have fun. There's my Twitter handle right there. Follow me on Twitter. And we're going to be bringing these to you guys. Probably not tomorrow. It's only a 3-game slate. And none of those games matter at all. I've already looked at it. I've already done a podcast about it. Maybe we'll jump on for 15 minutes or something like that, but probably not. But the day after that, Easter Sunday, we have a 15-game slate. So we'll see if we can jump on for that one. It's a giant slate. Every team's playing. So until then, go get that money.